Okay, let's unpack this. I want you to close your eyes for a second, unless you're driving, in which case please keep them open, and picture the great American road trip.
Right.
What comes to mind, it's probably a montage, right? You've got the open highway stretching out to the horizon, maybe Route 66. You've got the wind in your hair, the Eagles, or maybe some Petty playing on the radio, and this overwhelming, intoxicating sense of freedom.
It is a powerful myth. It's deeply embedded in the cultural psyche. It's the idea that if you just keep moving, you can outrun your problem.
Or that the movement itself solves them.
Exactly, that it solves the problems. It's the ultimate expression of autonomy.
Exactly. But today, we're going to take a sledgehammer to that montage. We aren't here to talk about the Instagram version of #vanlife.
Not at all.
We're going to look at what happens when that myth meets the laws of physics, the fragility of the human ego, and the gritty reality of living in a box.
Yeah, and that reality involves 160 gallons of water sloshing around in a tank, a German Shepherd who thinks he's a person.
And the realization that driving a 32-foot slab of metal at 65 miles per hour isn't just an adventure. It's a stress test for your sanity in your marriage.
It is. And to do that, we are diving deep into a really fascinating and honestly quite moving set of memoirs. We're looking at RV Season by Stephen Imke.
Right. And specifically, we're unpacking Volume 1 and Volume 2 together to see the whole arc.
Yeah, we have to look at them together.
And I think we need to set the expectations right up front. These aren't your typical travel guides. This isn't top 10 places to park your rig or how to dump your black water tank in 3 easy steps.
Not at all. If you're looking for technical manuals, you will be disappointed. This is a literary deep dive. It's a character study. Imke has structured these 2 volumes almost like a tragic play, or maybe a tragicomedy.
A tragicomedy, I like that.
Volume 1 is titled The Years of Discovery, and Volume 2 is The Years When the Road Fought Back.
Just those titles alone give you such a clear sense of the trajectory we're looking at. It's not a flat line, it's a hill. You go up, and then you have to come down.
It's a classic narrative structure, really. You have the ascent, the optimism, the learning curve, the we can do anything phase. That's Volume 1.
That is the season of possibility.
It is. And then you have Volume 2, which is the descent. It's about entropy, aging, mechanical failure, and the hard realization that seasons of life actually change. You can't live in the ascent forever.
So our mission today is to look at how a family evolves inside this confined space over the course of 8 summers.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the transition from sailing to RVing, which is a huge part of the origin story here, the character of the road itself, and how it changes from a welcoming friend to a hostile challenger.
And we have to talk about the silent protagonist.
Oh, we have to. Baron the German Shepherd.
I think Baron might actually be the emotional center of the books, if we're being honest.
It absolutely is.
He's certainly the character with the most consistent moral compass.
He steals every scene he's in. But let's start at the very beginning, the origin story. Because before they were RVs, Stephen and his wife Kim were sailors.
Right, they had this whole other life planned.
They had a sailboat, they had the charts, they had the dream of sailing the blue water around the world. That was the retirement plan. So what happened? Why are we talking about an RV book and not a sailing book?
Well, it's a classic case of a dream colliding with a nightmare. They had this plan to retire and sail, but they decided to take a charter trip to the Florida Keys, a sort of dry run.
Or a wet run, I guess.
A very wet run, yeah. They were anchored overnight, thinking they were in paradise, when a waterspout hit them.
A waterspout. And for anyone who thinks that sounds like a cute water feature in a garden, let's clarify.
It's a tornado on water. It is a violent, swirling column of air and mist.
Terrifying.
And it didn't just scare them, it traumatized them. It sucked belongings right out of the boat. It drove the vessel onto a sandbar. It was a chaotic, life-threatening event in the middle of the night.
Wow.
And for Kim, the author's wife, that was the breaking point. The fundamental safety of the vessel was compromised in her mind. She realized that on the water, there is no solid ground to retreat to.
Right. So the irony here is so rich, they decide to trade the unpredictability of the ocean for the safety of the open road.
The perceived safety, yeah.
They sell the boat, and they buy this 32-foot Cobia Class A motorhome. And the thought process is explicitly, well, the ground doesn't move, we'll be safe here. If the engine quits, we just pull over.
Which is a lovely, logical thought until you actually get on the road and realize that the highway has its own fluid dynamics.
It really does.
And that brings us to the maiden voyage in Volume 1. Because very quickly they learn that the road has its own version of a water spout.
Oh, the Kansas wind lesson. This part of the book had me laughing out loud, but also sweating a little bit just reading it because I could feel the steering wheel in my hands.
It's visceral writing. He puts you right there in the driver's seat.
So they're driving across Kansas. It's their first real trip. Stephen is a novice RV pilot, and he hits a crosswind. Now, in a sedan, a crosswind is annoying.
You correct a little bit. Maybe you complain about the noise.
Right, but in a 32-foot slab of metal with vertical sides, it's physics working against you.
It is aerodynamics and hydrodynamics combining to create terror. What Stephen describes is this oscillation effect.
Okay, break that down.
You have to understand the layout of the rig. They had full water and fuel tanks, about 160 gallons of liquid total. Most of that weight is located behind the rear wheels.
So it's a pendulum.
Exactly. It's a pendulum with a delayed reaction. A gust of wind hits the side of the RV. The suspension compresses, the RV leans. Stephen corrects the steering to fight the wind.
As you would.
But a split second later, that 1,000+ pounds of liquid sloshes against the side of the tank.
The liquid has momentum.
Right. That creates a secondary force that pushes the RV the other way or exacerbates the sway. So he's constantly fighting the wind and the delayed reaction of the water. He's sawing at the wheel.
He describes it as a sphincter workout.
Which is probably the most accurate medical description of driving an RV in high winds I've ever heard. You are physically clenched.
Your knuckles are white.
Everything is clenched. It's not the relaxing cruise they imagine.
Not at all. And it sets the tone immediately. They stop in Garden City, Kansas. And of course, because the universe has a sense of humor and loves literary symbolism, they are near where Dorothy is from in The Wizard of Oz.
Of course they are.
And what happens on night one?
A storm of biblical proportions.
They are literally parked between Cowardly Lion Lane and Tin Man Lane, and a storm hits that shakes the RV so hard they think it's going to tip over.
And they realize right then and there, as Stephen puts it, that God hates trailer parks.
It's the perfect introduction to this life.
It's the realization of unconscious incompetence. That's a psychological stage where you transition from not knowing what you don't know to suddenly realizing exactly how much you don't know.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
They went into this thinking, it's just driving, it's like a big car, and within 48 hours they realized they are operating a complex, heavy machine in a hostile environment.
But, and this is key for the season of discovery in Volume 1, the excitement overrides the fear.
Yes, that's it. They are terrified, sure. But they are also exhilarated. They are surviving.
That laughter is fueled by wine, in some cases.
Quite a bit of wine, which is its own theme in the book.
Which leads us perfectly to the wine tour mishaps. They have this romantic idea that they are going to visit wineries across America.
It sounds lovely.
It does. You drive, you stop, you sip a Pinot in a beautiful vineyard.
In theory, it's the perfect retirement.
But in practice, wineries are agricultural. They are farms. And farms are often located at the end of gravel roads on top of steep hills.
Right. Not exactly designed for a 32-foot motorhome.
No.
Yeah.
There's this story about Bristle Ridge. They drive up this steep gravel driveway. The wheels are sinking. The engine is roaring. They park on a slope because it's the only place they fit.
Okay, I can see where this is going.
And inside the RV, they have Baron, the dog, in his kennel on the bed.
And because of the slope and the movement, the kennel flips upside down.
Baron is upside down, thinking he's in a clothes dryer. Stephen has to rush in and flip him back over.
Poor Baron.
It's chaotic slapstick, but it highlights something important. Everything is harder in an RV. You can't just pop in somewhere.
No, that's the death of spontaneity. Every stop is a logistical calculation. Can we fit? Can we turn around? Will we sink in the mud? Will the overhang hit a tree?
You become a logistics manager first and a traveler second.
Totally.
And speaking of can we fit, we have to talk about the bridge in Herman, Missouri. This is one of those moments where, as a reader, you are practically screaming, "Don't do it," at the page.
The scenic route error. The classic mistake.
Yes. A local tells him, "Oh, take the bridge. It's scenic." But she also mentions somewhat casually that RVs usually get scared of it.
Which should have been the first red flag.
A giant waving red flag. Now, Stephen, full of that Volume 1 bravado, says, "I've driven across bridges. No problem. I'm a captain."
Famous last words.
He gets to the bridge. It's an old trestle bridge. It's maybe 20 feet wide total. The RV is 8.5 feet wide, plus big side mirrors.
And there's oncoming traffic.
The
math barely works. I mean, if you have an 8.5-foot vehicle and an 8-foot truck coming the other way, you are dealing with inches of clearance.
Inches. He describes having to drive over the center line just to keep his mirrors from smashing into the steel supports of the bridge.
Oh, that's nerve-wracking.
And his wife, Kim, is doing that thing passengers do. She's leaning her entire body weight toward the center of the cab.
As if her 130 pounds is going to magnetically pull the 10-ton RV away from the bridge railing.
We've all done that lean. I do that in my car.
We have. It's the illusion of control. But this story serves a dual purpose. It's funny, yes, it's a great bar story, but it also establishes the fundamental dynamic between Stephen and Kim.
That's a really good point.
Stephen is the driver. He has the wheel. He has the control, or at least the illusion of it. Kim is the passenger. She is helpless. She is dangling over the edge, trusting him with her life.
And that dynamic driver versus passenger becomes the defining conflict of the entire saga.
It really does. It creates this friction where one person feels the thrill of the challenge and the other just feels the terror of the consequences.
And speaking of characters inside this pressure cooker, we need to talk about the rest of the cast. We mentioned Baron. He is a German Shepherd. And in these books, he is absolutely the emotional anchor.
He is the icebreaker. When you travel in a bubble, specifically a motorhome, it's hard to meet locals.
Right. You're so self-contained.
You are. You sleep in your own bed. You cook in your own kitchen. But when you have a handsome German Shepherd, everyone wants to talk to you.
Everyone.
He introduces them to people they never would have met otherwise. He bridges the gap between the tourist and the local.
But he's also a chaos agent. There's the rope burn incident.
Oh, at the Missouri State Fairgrounds. That was rough.
Stephen is holding Baron's toy. He's distracted, talking to someone, probably because of the dog. Baron is on a 50-foot rope. The rope gets wrapped around Stephen's ankle.
And Baron sees something and takes off like a rocket.
And Stephen is dragged across wet grass, resulting in a severe rope burn that plagues him for the entire trip.
It's a painful reminder that there is a physical toll to this lifestyle.
Yeah.
You are constantly managing physical objects, ropes, hoses, chalks, dogs.
It's not a passive vacation where you sit by a pool.
Not at all. It involves manual labor and occasional injury.
And there's the health scare, the peeing blood incident. They're at Anjo's Creek, a recurring location in the book, which serves as a sort of home base.
Their sanctuary, yeah.
Stephen sees blood in Baron's urine. Panic sets in immediately.
And this is where the isolation hits. You are on the road. You aren't near your vet who knows the dog's history. You aren't near your support system.
A minor issue becomes a major crisis.
A medical issue with a pet becomes a crisis.
What?
It turned out to be a burst vessel, relatively minor, but the emotional spike is real. It shows how vulnerable you are when you leave your village.
Baron also connects them to the cast of characters they meet on the road. This is one of my favorite parts of travel literature, the weird, wonderful people you meet in the middle of nowhere.
The road is full of eccentrics. It draws them out.
There's the Charlie Brown campground in Flora, Illinois. They arrive late, it's confusing, and they are guided in by an old man who looks exactly like Charlie Brown and his wife.
And then they discover the horrible truth.
It's an alcohol-free campground.
Which, for Stephen and Kim on this trip, is a tragedy. They are there to unwind, and suddenly they are in a dry county, essentially.
A genuine crisis. They have to hide in the RV with the shades drawn to drink their wine like rebellious teenagers.
Which is just a hilarious image.
But then they go out to the Bluegrass Festival happening right there on the grounds. And they see this old guy, stooped over, looks like he's asleep in his chair. But when it's his turn to play the fiddle,
He plays like Charlie Daniels. He lights the place on fire.
it's a beautiful lesson in not judging the book by the cover. The road strips away pretenses. You see people in their raw element.
You see talent in unexpected places, for sure.
Then there's the Dr. Strange love fisherman in New York. A guy in sandals and socks who just stares at them. It spooked them.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Or the clerk in the convenience store in the poverty-stricken Ohio River Valley. Stephen literally can't tell if the person is a man or a woman, but the interaction highlights something deeper than just a quirky character.
That's a really poignant moment in the book. They are driving through these hollows, Bear on Rock Hollow. They see the poverty. They see the boarded-up towns.
The RV allows them to see America, but not just the postcard version.
No, they see the left-behind America, the economic devastation, and that clerk delivering the news that the RV park went bankrupt. It grounds the story in economic reality.
It does.
It reminds the reader that while the author is on a tour, the people living there are struggling to survive.
It adds a layer of sociological observation to the memoir. But let's go back inside the RV, because the most intense encounters aren't with strangers. they are with each other.
Oh, absolutely. The family dynamics.
You have Steven driving, you have Kim navigating.
The dumbass mantra.
We have to explain that.
Well, navigation is stressful. We have to remember the context. This is the mid-2000s. GPS exists, but it isn't what it is today.
No, it's not on every phone with real-time traffic.
And it often conflicted with the paper maps. So Kim is shouting directions, Steven is shouting back because the engine is loud, and whenever a mistake is made, a missed turn, a wrong exit, the dumbass mantra comes out.
I am a dumbass. You are a dumbass.
Exactly. It diffuses the tension, but it also speaks to the friction. You can't be polite when you're missing an exit at 65 miles per hour.
No, you really can't. And there's a scene where Kim is trying to nap in the back while the RV is moving.
Which is a terrible idea in a Class A, by the way. The back of the bus bounces the most.
Oh, I believe it. The RV brakes hard, the mattress literally slides off the frame and dumps her into the hallway.
It's slapstick again, but think about the reality. You are trying to rest, and the vehicle literally throws you on the floor.
It's insane.
The RV is a pressure cooker. It accelerates relationships. Small annoyances become arguments. But as Steven notes, shared laughter carries further.
That's true.
If you can survive the mattress sliding, you have a story for life. If you can't laugh at it, the trip is over.
And then there's the son, Hank, the vampire.
The vampire camper.
I love this description because it feels so true to teenagers. He sleeps all day and stays up all night.
Totally. They are driving through some of the most beautiful scenery in American Monument Valley, the plains, and he's asleep in the back.
Or he's playing the dead armadillo game in Oklahoma.
Which is exactly what it sounds like, counting roadkill.
It's just, it's a dark commentary on the boredom of the road for a teenager.
It is. To the parents, it's the great American road trip. They are seeing history. To the teen, it's a long, boring drive with spotty Wi-Fi and nothing to do. It illustrates that the dream is not shared equally by everyone in the vehicle.
So that's the ascent. That's the feeling of Volume 1. It's messy, it's chaotic, but it's full of life. But as we move into the middle section of the narrative,
right,
what we might call from freedom to structure, things start to shift.
And the novelty wears off.
It does.
Right. You can't live in a state of constant discovery forever. It's exhausting. Humans crave patterns. So the trips evolve from let's see everything to let's establish a rhythm.
They start repeating stops.
Yeah, they go back to Aunt Joe's in Cyclone, Missouri. They visit the Thompsons in Virginia.
They create the Great Circle route.
Exactly. It becomes a logistical loop rather than an exploration. They know where the gas stations are. They know where the good campsites are. The anxiety drops, but so does the wonder.
That's the trade-off.
And psychologically, something changes in Steven, the driver. He talks about the ticking sound.
Oh, this resonated with me deeply. He hears a ticking sound while driving. He becomes obsessed with it.
Is it the engine? Is it a wheel bearing? Is the transmission about to explode?
Every horrible possibility runs through his head.
It turns out to be an awning strap flapping against the metal. It was completely harmless.
Right.
But the reaction to it is key. His ear has become tuned to disaster. Every noise is an existential threat.
That's such a good way of putting it.
When you are responsible for a vessel, you stop hearing the music. You only hear the anomalies. That is a shift from vacation to responsibility.
He is no longer just a tourist. He is the captain of a ship that is constantly trying to break apart.
That's exactly it. And that hypervigilance bridges us into the 30th anniversary trip.
Yeah.
This is a pivotal moment in the narrative. They return to Seattle, where they met.
So there's a lot of nostalgia baked in.
A lot of nostalgia. They visit their old apartment, Seahurst Manor. It hasn't changed, but they have. They are looking at their past selves through the windshield of this massive RV.
And they have this Bigfoot scare.
Yes. They are in Washington State, dark, dense woods. Steven is walking barren at night. He hears a noise, a strange noise, and he sees hair.
And he just panics.
And suddenly, this grown man is terrified. He retreats to the RV, locks the door.
It contrasts so sharply with the open plains of Kansas or the deserts of the Southwest where you can see for miles.
Exactly. The Pacific Northwest forests are dark. They're enclosing. It feels like the environment is closing in on them, which is a perfect metaphor for where the story is going.
It really is. Because that darkness, that fear of the unknown, sets the stage for Volume 2.
The playfulness is starting to evaporate.
And that brings us to Volume 2. The years when the road fought back.
The title says it all. The adversary has changed. It's not just their inexperience anymore, it's the road itself.
So between Volume 1 and Volume 2, there is a hiatus. 2009 and 2010, they stopped traveling to care for Steven's mother, who has macular degeneration.
And that hiatus is crucial to the story. It breaks the momentum. When you step away from a difficult task, and make no mistake, RVing is a difficult task, you lose your calluses, both physical and mental.
That makes so much sense.
When they return to the road, they are older, they are more tired, and the new car smell of the experience is gone.
They know what they're in for now.
They know how hard it is now, and they aren't sure they have the energy for it.
And this is where the central conflict of the entire saga really takes center stage, Kim's anxiety.
It's the defining theme of the second volume. And it's important to treat this with empathy. It's not just her being difficult.
No, absolutely not. It starts with the brake scare in Yosemite.
Right. They are descending into Yosemite Valley, steep grades. Anyone who has driven an RV in mountains knows the fear of brake fade.
It's a real fear.
Stephen hits the brakes and nothing happens. Or at least they feel soft, they don't bite, they eventually stop, but the terror is planted deep.
That moment triggers a phobia in Kim, the wiggly line phobia.
She starts looking at the road atlas like a battle map. If a road has a wiggly line, meaning curves, mountains, scenery, she refuses to go.
Think about what that does to a road trip. The whole point of an RV is the scenic route. You buy it to see the mountains.
Exactly. But for Kim, the scenic route equals death. It equals that feeling of the brakes not working.
It becomes a source of pure terror.
It does. She gives him an ultimatum in Phoenix. She says, I'm done. Get me to the airport. They have to cut a trip short.
This is fascinating because it goes back to that driver-passenger dynamic we talked about earlier.
It's the ultimate expression of it.
Steven is annoyed. He feels like he has control. He knows the brakes are fine now. He's the pilot. But Kim isn't driving. She's just sitting there waiting to fall off the cliff.
It's the difference between perception and reality, and the difference between agency and helplessness. To Steven, the curve is a technical challenge to be solved. To Kim, it's a threat to her life that she cannot control.
And that anxiety must just permeate the cabin.
It does. It turns the vacation into endurance. They're just trying to get through the day without a panic attack.
And the RV itself starts to betray them. In Volume 1, breakdowns were adventures. Oh, look, the heater broke. Let's fix it with duct tape and laugh.
Yeah, it was part of the fun.
In Volume 2, breakdowns are insults.
They are personal. They feel like the machine is mocking them.
There's the transmission incident in Santa Rosa, New Mexico, at Loxon Park. They are stranded.
And it brings back the PTSD of a previous breakdown in Vegas. It's not a new problem. It's a recurring nightmare.
And then the heat. The AC line snaps on the roof. They are in Death Valley, or near it, and it's 100 degrees inside the rig.
Being in a metal box in 100-degree heat with a broken AC is not a vacation. It's a survival situation.
It's my personal hell, I think.
It creates irritability. It snaps patience. There's a moment that sums it all up perfectly. The step stool.
Oh, the step stool.
Yeah.
This is the literary climax of frustration.
It is. The automatic steps on the RV are jamming. They won't come out. So Stephen buys a cheap plastic step stool from a hardware store. He steps on it to get into the RV, and it collapses under him. He falls.
And Kim says,
I can never have anything nice.
ugh, that is such a heavy line. It's not about the stool.
No, it's existential.
It's about the whole experience.
It's why do we do this to ourselves? Why are we suffering in this box, fixing broken steps, sweating in the heat when we could be comfortable at home? It's the realization that the dream of the road is actually a lot of work and a lot of compromise.
And the landscape reflects this internal state. In the final arc of the story, the descriptions of the American West change. It's not majestic anymore. It's harsh.
He describes the devil's cornfield in Death Valley, the arrowweed plants that look like shocks of hay, but they are dead and dry. He talks about how the pioneers must have suffered, the heat, the stone, the silence. The West becomes unforgiving.
And the plains are just monotonous and full of dead armadillos.
Dead armadillos again. They start counting them. It's morbid.
It is.
It is. It's a focus on death and decay. And the mountains, which used to be the highlight, are now just sources of terror for Kim.
So even the beautiful parts are tainted.
The only place of consistency is Aunt Joe's Creek in Missouri. But even there, the floods come, the creek rises, it washes away picnic tables. Even the sanctuary isn't safe. The environment is hostile.
It mirrors their own aging.
Yeah.
Stephen talks about his knee pain, the placebo arthritis rub he buys in Monument Valley.
He's rubbing the stuff on his knee, hoping it works, knowing it probably won't. They are aging. Their bodies can't take the 500-mile days anymore.
And Baron is aging too.
And Baron is aging. He's not the spry puppy from Volume 1. He's slowing down.
And this leads to the decision to stop. It wasn't a crash. It wasn't an explosion. It wasn't one big fight.
No. And that's what makes it realistic. It was a settling, a quiet realization. Stephen says, returning is never the same as arriving.
Let's pause on that phrase. Returning is never the same as arriving.
It means you can go back to the same places. You can park in the same spot in Yellowstone, but you can't go back to the same time.
You can't be the same people.
You can't be the people you were in Volume 1. You can't recapture the innocence of the years of discovery. You know too much now. You are too tired now.
That is profound. You can drive to Seattle, but you can't drive back to 1980.
Exactly. And so in 2015, they sell the RV. They buy a smaller trailer just for hunting. The great American road trip era of their lives ends.
So let's zoom out. What does this all mean? If we look at RV season as a whole, what are the takeaways for us, even if we never buy an RV?
I think the core thesis is that long journeys don't change you. They reveal who you are.
Oh, I like that.
The road removes the distractions of daily life. If you are anxious, the road amplifies it. If you are impatient, the road tests it. If your marriage has cracks, the road will find them.
But if you have love and humor, the road will highlight that too.
Absolutely. It cuts both ways.
Volume 1 was about possibility. Volume 2 was about acceptance.
Acceptance of limits. Acceptance that dreams have life cycles. The sailing dream died, then the RV dream died. And that's okay. That is the natural order of things.
We have seasons of life, and we have to know when to turn the page.
We do.
And there's a legacy here in the logs themselves. Stephen kept detailed journals. The price of gas, the taste of a burger, the specific mechanical failure.
At the time, those details seem mundane. Paid $2.50 for gas, ate a cheeseburger. But years later, they become the most poignant parts. They capture the texture of life.
That's so true.
We often only remember the highlights, the graduation, the wedding, the Grand Canyon. But life is lived in the waiting rooms, the gas stations, the traffic jams. Stephen captured the life part of the trip, not just the sightseeing.
I want to end with a thought about the empty seat.
Yeah, this hit me hard.
The outro of the book touches on this. Baron eventually passes away.
Oh.
And for anyone who has traveled with a dog, you know that the vehicle feels different when they are gone.
The silence is louder.
The silence is louder. And the road, once the engine is turned off for the last time, is just a road. It's just asphalt.
The magic is gone.
The magic wasn't in the highway. It was in the people and the dog inside the box.
That's the so what? We travel not to see new places, but to be together in a way that regular life doesn't allow. You are stuck in a box together. You have to talk. You have to solve problems.
You have to face things.
You do. And when that season ends, it's sad, but it's also beautiful that it happened at all.
Returning is never the same as arriving.
I'm going to be thinking about that for a long time. It's a lesson about cherishing the arrival while you're there, because you can't go back.
Precisely. Be in the season you are in. If you want to understand the real American road trip, not the glossy version, but the gritty, hilarious, heartbreaking reality pickup RV season by Stephen Imk, it's a journey worth taking. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Safe travels.
See you in the next one.
Hey, it's Steve, the author of RV Season. Thank you for listening. If you want the full story, the link's in the description below.